All right, here we go. Welcome to Three Chicks in a Pod, Chicks and Salsa. We are joined today by Miss Jackie Carson. We are so excited to have her on for her second visit. First time we've been able to have her on video. We were so grateful the last time she was able to come on, but she just was unable to be on screen at that moment. Completely understand. I've had to do it from my car plenty of times. So we're just really glad to have you. How's everyone's week going?
Pretty good.
I'm great. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Jen?
I'm excited.
Thank you so much again for coming on, Jackie. We're so excited.
All right, Jen. Well, I guess we'll
Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Jen, you want to start us off?
Oh, sure. So, Jackie, I'm going to ask, this wasn't an official question, but so how did your daughter's basketball league end up?
Yeah. Oh gosh. I'm trying to figure out at what point, because I feel like we just finished the AAU tournament this past weekend in Louisville. My oldest daughter played varsity. She just finished her AAU, so finished up strong. They lost in the semifinals for varsity as an 8th grader, but she had an amazing first year of experience in varsity. And then her AAU team just won their bracket and Run for the Roses in Louisville, so that's a good thing. And then my youngest daughter, she's 11, and she had a great AAU season. Her team was very, very good. And then let's see, her school team won the championship. 5th graders at Providence Day won the IFBL championship. And then they both play soccer. So we've been in Texas playing soccer. So we are finally 2 days ago to the point where we might have a summer left, and we're going to try to plan a family vacation because we have no official sports for a month or for probably 3 weeks.
When I was swimming, that was like my favorite 3 weeks of the year.
Yes. Yes. I think me and my husband are more excited than my kids because we're like, we don't have to travel. We don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to spend any money. We don't have to book a hotel. Thank you for asking. It's been a great first year in Charlotte for the girls, and so we're super excited.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy. Yeah. By the way, after this, I'm going to tell you about a new pizza place I found in downtown. You may know.
Okay. But I probably don't. I'm so overwhelmed with my food. I'm such a foodie, but I have not found all my great Charlotte food areas, so I'm ready.
Oh, Jackie, I'll give you my cell phone number. I'll be your personal Yelp.
Okay, awesome.
You got to tell it.
So Jen, here's my NIL question. Oh, the barbecue place in Lexington? Oh, yeah. You and I can go back up there when you come from football.
Oh, my gosh.
Noted.
So with NIL, so I know like we see what Bill Belichick is doing, but my question is more when kids are given NIL money, is the ACC doing anything about asking the schools and universities to make these kids take at least a personal finance course, getting them in with a CFA or CFP or a CPA or even a fiduciary? Because my concern is we see pro athletes all the time coming in, making all this money. Like Shaq famously said, I spent my first $1 million in 48 hours. And he did. Does the ACC do anything about that or like encourage the universities to do anything?
Yeah, well, our universities are very, very much ahead of that. They, even before NIL started, our kids had Austin money. They had different things associated where they were getting some type of payment. So I think especially on the women's side, they were really like proactive in saying, hey, this is a financial advisor. This is how you manage your money. These are the people you need to, this is what investing looks like. So that I think that's happened for a really long time. Now in this day and age, it's really different because most of these young ladies and young men have agents. So that's a part of having an agent is having a financial person, a part of your team. They have marketing agents. They have, agents that are negotiating their NIL and their deals. So while the schools have it, it really has come more like a pro model where no, we're not per se telling that student athlete because they already have a team of people around them. And you're just hoping that they have the right people around them that are educating them on how to invest and finance their money.
Thank you. Because in all honesty, I didn't know that. I knew they had agents, but I didn't think that the agents were bringing in financial planners for these.
Yeah,
kids.
wealth management. Yeah, especially with the amounts that these kids are making, and then some of them are using their parents, which is crazy. But yeah, everyone should be advised of these student athletes to have some type of wealth management or advisor, which usually is associated with your agent. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know about that part, so
Yeah,
thank you. I'm sure a lot of other people did. And Adam put in a barbecue joint, but I'm not going to share that because I disagree with him.
Okay.
Oh no.
That's funny. That's funny.
But they have other good food. I'm just not a big fan of them.
I like it, Adam. Thank you for the recommendation. We're gonna have like a little smoke off or a cookout or something. Yeah.
Right.
So as a follow-up question to Jen, just hit me. Does all your athletes have agents, or is that something that's just now common, or do you have some that come in and you're like, suggest that they get someone to help them, or is that, I'm just curious.
Yeah, it honestly varies team to team, school to school. So probably 90, if not 100% of the higher profile student athletes in our conference are going to have an agent because they have NIL deals and just a lot of, I mean, you're seeing our student athletes on the cover of magazines and marketing. You see our coaches in marketing and commercials. Those are the main things that NIL has produced, which is really great on the women's side and for all of women's sports. Because, typically it's about relationship based and having a face and to go with the product, and social media reach and influence is how women are traditionally getting NIL deals. So most of them, especially our higher profile, do have an agent. But I wouldn't say it's a requirement for all. Some feel like maybe their parents can help them manage their money and they don't want to have to pay a percentage to an agent.
Right.
So I would say probably the higher the profile, the more likely they have a team of people around them to help them manage their money and their deals and, get more publicity and managing all those types of things. Yep.
So Jackie, I know we kind of talked a little bit about this off camera, and it's one of my questions for you for on camera. Not who, but when do we think we're going to see the first female NBA coach? Like, I know Becky Hammon was like an interim coach, and there's 4 assistant coaches out there that's a female: Jenny Buxey, Brittany Donaldson, Lindsay Harding, and Sonia Rahman. But when do you think we're going to get the first female? And I'm not going to even ask who, because I know that would be really hard. But when? Yeah. When do you think that might happen?
I think we're sooner than later. And soon in this type of thing could be 5 years, within a 5-year span. I really just think it's the type of management that's willing to take a chance. And not every NBA office has that type of, management, but you have strong proponents of, Coach Pop was, Becky Hammon's biggest fan. You have women sitting on benches. I watched the game the other day where they were touting Cooper Flagg versus Bronny, and who's on the sideline is leading the team is Lindsay Harding. And so who's an ACC alum, a Duke alum. So, I think we are sooner than later, because not only are folks finding out that women are capable of leading an NBA program, but the respect that the male athletes and the NBA players give these coaches, they don't see them any different than a male coach. I think that there used to be such a faux pas that, are they going to listen to a woman? Well, yeah, they are, because these women are highly, former Olympians and just high-level coaches. The fact that Dawn Staley was interviewed for the Knicks job and was under strong consideration. I don't ever think she'll leave South Carolina. I don't know why she would. But the simple fact that they're knocking on a female's door to see if she's interested in a head coaching job already shows progress. So it's just going to be who's that first owner that is serious about hiring a female and all that comes with it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I can't wait to see it.
I can't either.
As a Spurs fan, I kind of wanted to follow up on that, because I had a dream that Becky was going to come back and save us.
She could. She still could.
It seems like, I think Pop's health change that. I think that was the plan, probably. Maybe like under the table, go get some experience in the head coaching position, and obviously some success because she's a back-to-back champion. And I had always hoped that she would come back. That I felt like that was the natural transition, and health-wise, that didn't work out. It happened much sooner. The transition had to happen much sooner than we were ready for as Spurs fans. Do you think San Antonio missed the mark there?
I don't know. I think, just being around coaching, like I said, previous to this role as a head coach, and just being an administrator / GM, it's all about timing and what your team needs. So where the timing probably, to your point, if Pop didn't have these health, setbacks sooner than later, and could have continued to kind of groom and put the team in the position that they needed to be in. I think timing is everything. So also because you don't want to finally have that first female head coach put in a position where she can't be successful. And I think that also has a lot to do with it. The Spurs obviously have Victor, but they just haven't had the level of success yet. And so I don't even know if I would wanted Becky to be in that position, because then it's going to be like constantly, she has to be successful sooner than later. That's the downside to any first, is if you're not successful right away, they consider it a failure. Like they don't give you time to become successful like they give others, so I think timing is going to be everything. I'm kind of glad she didn't get that position, because that they're still trying to build that team back up from what it used to be. Where if she was in that position, it would have been a lot of pressure for her to do so, and a very tight leash.
Yeah.
Agree. I was really grateful she didn't get the Trailblazers job, because when she was up for that, I thought, oh, for sure they're going to give it to her, but it wouldn't be successful. Look, Chauncey Billups is there, and it's not an immediate success just because you have the stardom to go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think timing, especially, that's what a lot of fans and folks don't realize, is timing is everything in hires and recruiting. It's just like some people, why didn't they go get that kid? Well, I don't need a point guard, or I don't need that. And certain things with a head coach, you have a select group of players, what those players represent. It could be high pace. You might need a shooter. You might need this, and you need a coach that has a certain system in hand. So you have to go after a certain coach based on what you have and for immediate success. Or if you're a program that's trying to build, like Charlotte right now is trying to build. So they're putting together some pieces to build what, Charles Lee is trying to do, in the NBA. But the Knicks had to build. They're there now. So that's one of those jobs you wish a female outside of Dawn Staley was considered for, if they kept the same roster. Because, there's success that they had in the playoffs. But I think they've also had like 4 coaches in 7 years or something like that. I don't know if I want that job either. So
Right. Well, let's slide it over to the ACC. Give us a little preview of what we have coming up for women's basketball in the ACC. I know we had some coaching changes, and we definitely had some movement within the portal. We had some ladies that graduated, got drafted. What does it look like this year for the ACC?
Yeah, I still believe that our coaches are absolutely amazing, and they're amazing recruiters and X's and O's. So the ACC is going to look a bit different. We still have some star power. You're going to see some new star power. I think our freshmen that are coming in, especially particularly, I'm thinking of Stanford, how they have some really dynamic freshmen that are going to really impact what that team looks like this year compared to last year. I think a lot of people are going to see the Stanford of old come back and into the ACC. Duke. They lost some players in the portal, but they also kept a lot of the core players and didn't graduate too much. So, NC State is always NC State. Louisville is Louisville. I can go all the way down, 1 through 18 of our league, and still. It's funny. We try to rank them like almost weekly in the office, and you might have the same 1, 2, or 3, and then we have no idea what 4 all the way down could look like. And somebody from 4 could creep in the next week once we, like NC State had an amazing signing today with Pierre coming from Vanderbilt. That's a 20-point per game student athlete from the SEC that's now on NC State's roster. That's a game changer. You know, so I'm super excited about our league.
I'm always interested
Our
whenever
coaches, I never count them out.
Vandy plays somewhere else in basketball. I'm always interested when a Vandy player changes because I don't know if everybody realizes this, but there's no air conditioning at the gym in Vandy. And so I always consider those athletes just a little bit tougher than everybody else.
Well, very tough.
All right,
I can tell you probably Candace Story Lee is going to change all that. She's the AD at Vandy. She's actually a mentor of mine and an absolutely amazing woman who played basketball at Vandy. So as much as I hate competing against, her at ACC and the SEC, she's about to get that program rolling over there. So probably air is coming soon if they still don't have air over there. But yeah, she's a high academic kid, which fits the profile of our schools, and she's an amazing athlete. So I'm glad NC State was able to grab her.
So Jackie, quick thing. Adam actually put in a really good question. Do you think we'll see the NCAA women's tournament expand, or do you think it'll stay the same with 68 teams?
I feel like Adam has been in our office the past couple of days. Yeah, we've talked about this a lot.
He's a guy.
Okay, I got to keep my eye out for Adam. I can only speak personally. I'm a bit of old school. I love the tournament. I think that's the best sporting event. I think it competes head to head with the Olympics every 4 years, but from an annual basis, I think it's the best sporting event in the world, to be honest. And so I would love to see it stay as is, because I think there's just such a feeling and it's just special. Yeah. You have to qualify. You have to say the best of the best, and then you have the Cinderellas, and you have the teams that folks don't expect. And the level of parity is increased in women's basketball compared to the past. But I also don't think we're there yet to have 72 or 76 teams. I feel like that's a lot. It would be almost like as much as I want to see more teams in the ACC get there, I want to see us have a higher percentage of teams, not just more teams. Because there's more teams available in the tournament. So I would love it if it stayed the same. And I do think this is one of those times. I know there's a lot of things about, is it equal to the men's? Well, a lot of our tournament isn't equal to the men. Our first few sites are on home sites. Well, compared to the men who are in Dayton for their first 4 games. And that makes a huge difference. I don't know if that's the best environment, that we stick 4 more games or 4 more teams on home sites where they're away from their crowd and empty gyms. I don't think that's the best environment for women's basketball. And that, playing at home sites also affects seating and travel. And so things like that is, I don't think we should mess that up, because we've had a really good product and been building a really good product in women's basketball. So I don't know what's going to happen. I know the men are I say men in general, not just ACC men's. The men's coaches, I think, want to see expansion. But in a way, I hope we could stay independent than the men if the men choose to go that route, and the women stay at 68. So,
yeah,
there's exclusivity. I'm going to say that wrong. Of staying the same. And it kind of gives you. I don't know. I feel like we keep adding too many things, then it takes away from the tradition and the elite type talent. I realize that things are more spread out, especially with the way things are advancing. But I think that you take away from your product when you keep expanding and adding.
Yeah, it's like you're diluting it. You're exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
That's my 2 cents.
It's good 2 cents, so you can make it $1.
Make it $1. My grandmother, she'd have been over 100 years old, but this year, but she said she'd always said, "I'll add my 2 cents, and you can't distract me from my money."
That's right.
Okay, so I'm up with you. So many ACC alumni in the W. What do you attribute to the ACC women's basketball success, and how it sets them apart from all other conferences?
I had a little trouble hearing you, but I think I pieced together a lot of ACC alumni in the WNBA, and what do we attribute to their success? And there was another part of that. Did I miss something else?
And how you set apart than the rest of the conferences? What makes the ACC the crown jewel as far as the W goes?
Across the NCAA women's basketball.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah. So obviously I'm incredibly biased, but I've like studied and loved NCAA women's basketball, and I love just the cream of the crop that just across basketball period, the ACC has always been superior. What I do love as a women's basketball fan is that we could be superior, and then we're fighting with the SEC to be superior, and now we're fighting with the Big 10 to be superior, and the Big 12, and because there's the parity, there's the excitement where people used to say all the time it was going to be the same people over and over again. UConn was going to have all their team on the Olympic team, and then there's only going to be Tennessee and UConn, and it was only going to be Pat and Gino, and that was probably the thing that crushed women's basketball, is it was the same old players. And then Baylor came into the mix, and then Maryland came into the mix, and what I've loved is now there's a lot of people in the mix. People are talking about Carol Lawson at Duke and what she's able to do, where no one has really talked about Duke the way they deserve to be talked about since Gail Gestencourt was there. And, and so, and what Jeff has been able to do, multiple Final Fours at Louisville, and luckily he was doing that at the Big East, and now it's in the ACC. And so, and this cycle of realignment, like, we just have the best of the best coaches. I think I really think our coaches are, what Niele Ivey is doing, Courtney Banghart. Like I said, I got 18 schools, so I know I'm missing out on so many great people, but just the athletes that we have, the balance that they're able to do it, especially we're sending them across the country. Only the Big 10 can really mimic that as much as what we're doing. And then just being able to sustain it, like having sustained success. Like a lot of conferences are having new success. We're having sustained success. We're always near the top, if not the top, and the number of teams that we have in the conference. You're competing day in and day out against the best coaches. And so we're in the day and age where a lot of people are coming for our student athletes. As you mentioned, we lost a good in the portal, but we also gained some, and our coaches still can recruit better than none other. And so now we're just in the day and age where everyone knows the ACC is the best. You're coming for the ACC, and we have to figure out how to keep our coaches and our student athletes happy in the age of the high mighty dollar. But I think what they see in us, they try to mimic and take. And so, like I said, I think our coaches are doing the best. So our WNBA teams, we're loaded. Just think of the amount of Notre Dame players. Think of the amount of Duke players. I was looking at, ironically, I was watching a game yesterday, and I was like, gosh, Elizabeth Williams is still playing. And she was just so dynamic for Duke in a certain day and age. But I'm incredibly biased. But as a women's basketball fan, you can go down the list with a number of teams across the whole ACC where, like I said, you can go name a million UConn players. That's one team that sustains success. We have 18 teams, 15 that have regular success all the time, that have multiple players in the WNBA, where there's not too many leagues that they can say we have multiple players. Like they have players now coming in, but we have a very deep history of multiple players from multiple teams within the ACC still competing in the WNBA.
Very impressive.
That's actually how I came up with that question, Jackie. I was looking at ACC alumni within the league, and obviously you have Notre Dame, which is Guard U, and then I got to looking around, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many ACC players that are, alumni that are in the W and at the pro level like that, and I was just like, there's got to be something different about the ACC for them to put them out like that, because it's not an individual, it's not one program, it's as a whole, it's a whole conference, and gosh, 18 schools.
Yeah, it's a lot of schools, but like you just mentioned, the depth and longevity of the talent and the coaches that we have in this league is just it's second to none. Again, now we have folks that are coming for us and have invested and competed highly in women's basketball. But it's normally like new it's new talent, new exposure, which is great for our game. But, for us to continue to do what we've always done in the ACC, I bet on our coaches and our universities.
So, and Katie, I know we need to get to your question too, and I'm sorry, but this struck me like, oh crud, I'll come back to it because it just escaped my mind. I'm so embarrassed.
It's gonna pop back in.
It was actually good. It'll come back because it's got out a couple times. Sorry.
No worries, Jen. I wanted to ask Jackie's opinion on this question. I've been asking everybody this question that I come in contact with that's in the basketball world. So whether it's because it has both genders in this question, it's male or female. And go ahead, Jen.
No, go ahead.
Got her question.
I'm taking it down so I don't forget.
Okay. So we've seen injuries become a huge issue over the last few years. On the men's side, we see a ton of Achilles injuries. And on the women's side, we see quite a bit of knee injuries. And I was reading an article that was talking about the correlation between a woman's menstrual cycle and her injuries. Obviously, your body is a little bit different once you're going through your cycle. Is that something that's like y'all are aware of? Is that something y'all are looking into? Is it anything that affects what y'all have going on?
Yeah, I'll say I mostly heard about it as a coach. First of all, as a coach, you all know you get a bunch of females together, 15 females usually in a room for 9, 10, 11 months out of the year because they're usually there after summer school. What does their cycle start doing? They start linking at the same time. So not only are we just aware from an injury, but we need to figure out when we need to have a lot of tissues. There's a lot going on in practice because there's 13 to 15 females on their cycle at the same time. But seriously, it's just like being pregnant, and when you talk about hormones going through your body and it's making that your ligaments and your tendons a lot stretchier and susceptible to injury. Like they don't tell pregnant women to wear heels and stuff like that because all their ligaments. Well, it's the same thing. Just with the hormones during your menstrual cycle, they kind of affect your body. And they have done just enough research where, they're studying how it's affecting your ligaments, which is your ACL. And we already have hip-bearing, childbearing hips. And so that has a lot of pressure on, the knee. I would say almost 80-90% of the ACLs that I've seen in the last 5 years are non-contact. It's just landing. So there's a lot of trainers where there's a lot of studies on how to land properly. But the other big thing, and we kind of talked about behind this in the show, is like when we were growing up, and I don't know how old everyone is, but I'm now I'm in that old woman stage where I'm like, back in my day, we used to play multiple sports, and that trained our body to different movements. I played everything. So when it was basketball season, it was basketball. It was soccer season, it was soccer. I played softball. I did that. Now these kids are just playing basketball. They're forced to specialize so early. Same thing with boys. And it's almost overuse of the same movements over and over again. So now they're more susceptible to injury. And I really believe that, not only injury, but burnout. So as a mother of 2 girls, I'm very adamant about both of them playing multiple sports until they're ready to choose which one they want to do. And both of mine play basketball and soccer at 11 and 13. And people have asked them to specialize. I'm not specializing an 11 and 13-year-old. But a lot of these injuries are due to they're only playing basketball, overuse over and over again, cutting with the same motions, not lifting, not doing things that are really shaping all their muscular and all their different movements. Instead, they're putting a lot of stress on it. So you see, I tore my Achilles. I tore it when I was in my 40s, though. So playing against my team. But like you said, you're seeing a lot of male players, particularly, they just pop, and ACLs a lot has been done. Recovery from ACLs is a lot shorter, but unfortunately it's still an issue. And I'm glad that they have found similarities in things like in the cycle and what you're eating and landing and stuff like that. So a lot of trainers are doing things to help prevent ACL injuries. Shoes, orthotics, all types of things are being done to help that. Diet.
Have you been up to Kannapolis yet?
No.
Because RCC is actually doing a study with all of the major universities from the ACC, SEC, everyone, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky.
Nice.
And they've been doing this for at least 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just studying on how food, like all of us could have this same exact shake. Yep. And it's going to affect me different than it affects you, than it affects Megan and Carrie. And so, and it's really focusing a lot. Like, it's very interesting.
It is. How I'm absorbing is different than how you absorb it. Like, it's very fascinating. Heredity, how we're shaped, how we build muscle mass, all of it. It's fascinating for each person. Yeah.
I do think it's strange that, we saw the evolution of footwear as well. Like high tops aren't as prevalent. And I wonder if that plays a factor as well, especially 100%. Like in AC or not ACL, but Achilles.
Yeah. Absolutely right. That's what they've talked about with a lot of NBA players is just the Achilles. Yeah. And most of it is due to that we're not wearing high tops anymore. So high tops used to protect that area and at least not prevent as much strain. But yeah, it's 100%. I'm pretty sure I was wearing low tops when I tore mine, but I was just old. I had Achilles problems all throughout college.
Jackie, anyone who can walk around in the heel size that I've seen you walking in, bro, you ain't
true. You'll see him next week. You'll see him next week. Yeah.
I will. I'm like, crap, I got to get my shoe game on. Jackie's
no, you're already great. You're good.
Candy, what was your question? I'm sorry.
All right, Jen.
Have my other one.
I asked mine earlier. Mine was the NBA.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I thought you had another one too. Okay, so this was my question. So with the excitement and the enthusiasm that we've seen around women's college hoops and the WNBA, for me, and we've discussed this before, it takes me back to like 96 Olympics because that was the first Olympic Games that really showcased a lot of women. We had the outliers, of course, but that was the that was the first Olympic Games that had equal women to men in the games. And then the next year was the initiation of the WNBA. So with like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and Paige Buckers, for me, I'm seeing this enthusiasm again. Are you seeing it? And maybe it was because I used to go to Charlotte Sting games all the time. I don't know. But
no, it's there. And as you said, it is because you can see it. The TV rights deal is probably the biggest thing that has impacted women's sports for women's basketball. Same thing with soccer. If you notice, women's soccer explodes around the Olympics because you see it. But that's the same level of soccer that they have all across the year and across different events. But you don't see it until it's on TV, unless you're following it. And so basketball, the biggest thing is particularly for NCAA basketball. Then it spilled over into the WNBA season is when we had our, broadcasting rights deal renegotiated for the NCAA tournament. And then all of our games are broadcasted on the ESPN family of networks during the tournament. You then saw Angel Reese going against Caitlin Clark. Because here's the thing, people forget Caitlin Clark played 4 years at Iowa, but who remembers any games from her freshman and sophomore year? You don't, because she played on the Big Ten network that nobody can see. Right. Until she got to the NCAA tournament. So the fans in Iowa saw her, but she didn't become a national phenomenon until her junior year when they had a phenomenal NCAA tournament run. And then her senior year, because of what happened during her junior year of her NCAA tournament run after the media rights deal was negotiated. So women's basketball has always been great, but nobody has been able to see it. And so now in the WNBA, that deal has been redone. Allies, so many sponsors have come on supporting it. You see WNBA characters, players all over representing brands that are huge. I mean, everyone knows the State Farm commercials. You see CarMax. I mean, you see WNBA players. And people recognize them. Asia Shu is doing phenomenal. I love it because I see little boys.
I got 2 pairs.
Yeah, my daughter too. You know, and that's the crazy thing. You're seeing boys and NBA players wear a female athlete's shoe.
Right.
So it's just whatever you can see, you can mimic. And that's the thing is you haven't been able to see it. And like you said, in 96, you could see the Olympic team and you saw the success they have as much as you saw the men's team that year. And that's what drove the viewership to the first part of the WNBA. And then that went away. But now we're back there and I hope we're able to sustain it.
Me too. I really do. And I'll say this, I kind of like the fact that Angel is on the cover of the NBA 25.
Absolutely. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Love it. Yeah.
And so I think, any other questions, ladies?
No, I'm going to say something. It caught me so off guard. I get random stuff in my Facebook feed, and one thing that popped in my feed today, and it just kind of caught me off guard, is there was two well-known, I'm not even going to give their names out, two well-known pundits out there that said that Caitlin and Angel are making it too catty, for lack of a better word.
LeBron James.
Drive viewership away from WNBA, and I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking, that's the reason why other people are tuning in, because that's a storyline that people are drawn to. The rivalries, and I'm sitting there thinking, why would that run people off? Because once you get them in, then you're going to see these other phenomenal players. It drove me nuts because they were trying to minimize the impact of it on the W and on.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, there's always going to be those folks that always pair an athlete to being a female and the stereotypes that come with a female. So, we can't show emotion, but men do it all the time, like stuff like that. We can't have an argument because it's unladylike. What are we talking about? We're trying to compete and win the same way that men do, and men can argue on the court, and it's perceived as some type of way for females, And so there's always going to be that element. I don't think we'll ever escape that, but it's also got to stop being fed by the media too. And it's also, we talk about with officials, like let a female scream and one, please, and not be penalized for it. It's just part of the competition. So, but we're getting there. We're making improvements, but we're always going to have that narrative of, females being catty or not competing, and she shouldn't act that way. And it's whatever. Whatever. Yeah.
It is so funny because I honestly see men behaving that way more than women.
Oh, absolutely. I really feel like the most dramatic sport is men's soccer.
Yes, I will agree with you 100%.
Oh, yes.
They're trying to draw a foul and they are rolling, and then they'll get up and run off as soon as they get the foul, or they don't get the foul call. But women just get up and play and are tougher. I'm biased, so.
Oh, yeah, no, right there with you. I think we all are.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jackie, first of all, before I go with my last question, thank you so much for coming on again.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy it.
I will bother your man again to see if we can get you on as well. Maybe okay before the tip off, but I know it's getting crazy for you right now.
Yeah, it's starting to pick up a little bit, so this is perfect timing.
But so our last question for you is, what is your favorite memory from playing basketball and then from coaching?
Oh, wow. That's tough. Playing basketball was definitely winning my senior year. We won the SoCon championship. That was just pretty cool. It checked a list off. For a coach, I had weird memories. I have no idea how many games I won or lost. But I remember really weird stuff, like taking my team on foreign tours and seeing kids that have never been out of the country experience something that they normally couldn't experience. my team used to call me Mama Carson because my wins were the mama things. Like when we were on our way to the finals in the SoCon tournament, we had a police escort, and those are the things that they never have had, you know, that probably some bigger programs take for granted, but you know, like having a police escort through Asheville and them just being so excited about people lining up beside the bus and having that feel of walking into a tournament. Now, unfortunately, we lost both of them that we were in, but I think the excitement of watching them experience something that I knew could be the only time they experienced, and the joy they had behind it, and just having that big time feel, and you know, able to provide some experiences that they never had before. That was probably my biggest wins as a coach, you know, over any big game, like, you know, stuff like that. Like I really valued the relationships and building strong women through coaching. Now it's competitive, don't get me wrong. I hated losing, but most of my memories now are like how kids felt on senior night, or, you know, how much the program and the basketball experience, you know, meant to them. That was probably all my best memories. So like going to weddings and stuff like that.
I love that.
Yeah. Like the reason we like to end on a happy note like that is because when we first started the show, our very first topic was the anniversary of Title IX. So obviously a very serious topic, and it ended up being that we were always talking about really serious topics. And I was like, ladies, we got to end on a happy note. So we always end on a happy topic. So that's why we asked that question then.
Well, that is a great topic.
Well, appreciate you coming on so much, Jackie. We really appreciate it. And I will say from a media standpoint, what sets the ACC apart, I got a chance to go to the tournament this year, and normally media shoved.
We saw you. We waved.
The very highest, furthest way away from the
Did I see you that way back?
And we were right.
Yeah. And we also saw each other in the dining room. Like, but you were trying, like, you were getting your food, and you waved at us and we waved back.
Yes. But, I remember. I was like, oh God, I hope I didn't miss you one time. I was like,
no, not at all. No, not at all. We didn't want to impose on you during a tournament for some crazy reason. We thought you might be
right. Yeah.
I definitely am a little busy, but feel free to impose at any time. Yeah.
But we will definitely be there for tip off.
Yes.
Great. Well, I love
all right, ladies. Well, everybody, that does it for us this week.
I'm sorry, Jackie, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying I appreciate the support of ACC women's basketball and just all of women athletics. And we're just really blessed to have y'all in our corner. So just anything we can do, just let us know.
Well, thank you, Jackie. We appreciate that. We appreciate y'all and Brandon being such big advocates of us. So thank you. Like, honestly, it means so much to us.
Absolutely.
Time this next month.
Gotcha.
Okay, stay on and I'll tell you about the pizza place afterwards. But thank you guys for tuning in. And if y'all have any topics you want us to cover next week, hit us up. And Megan, I'm going to let you close this out.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody for commenting and sharing the show. We got a steady stream tonight. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. We got a little bit of viewership tonight. Really appreciate y'all. And we will be back next week, or I will not, but the other ladies will. I will be back the week after. Baseball is running my life right now. So